Good morning. That probably sounded a little more chipper than what I am. I've been up since about 5 o'clock. Just having trouble getting the body moving. It was very relaxing because the rain was falling. Funny thing is, there's not supposed to be a chance of rain. And if you look at the radar, there's no rain around here at all either. Because I did have a signal where I tented and was able to check that out. So I guess it's coming out of nowhere. But it's there nonetheless. Which means for a very wet, soggy morning, my tent was completely wet. It stayed dry inside, obviously, but now it's going to be wet all day. I keep it on the outside of my backpack, so it's not going to get the other things inside wet at least. But unless the sun comes out and dries it out a little bit, it will probably be damp or wet by the time I shelter tonight. So just another soggy day in paradise. But the day has started getting closer to Connecticut. I believe I crossed Connecticut. Well, I do know that I crossed Connecticut today, but I believe I have to cross it a second time before New York is done for good. So obviously I will let you know when that happens. But for today, just going to go do what I do. Conquer and press forward and progress and see what life has to teach me today. The trail is rock here in the early part of the day. And you come over here and you got this. Yes, that is a big rock on the trail for absolutely no purpose whatsoever. All I gotta know is why. Actually, I don't even have to know it, but I wonder why. Why would they just have a big rock going right across the trail? Doesn't need to be climbed. At least there's a little room to get around it. Not much. Or you can go down in the leaf area there. Which, you know, I don't know, foot drop off. Not that bad, but I just don't understand why there's a big rock right in the middle of the trail. That's kind of funny. But this is what the trails look like so far. And it's kind of the way it ended yesterday, too. I just kept climbing up rocks. Or climbing up, you know, rock trail. Not necessarily big rocks, but, you know, like this, where the trail is actually rock. Climbing up a bunch of this and, you know, going over some boulders and such on my way to where I sheltered last night. Talking about that, there was a lot of stinking people there. I've been doing really well in the last 10 days or so and hardly ever being around anyone when I'm sheltering or tenting. And then all of a sudden, geez, they came out of... I mean, I did less miles yesterday. Maybe that's why. Got to keep doing the same amount of miles to stay ahead of everybody. I mean, I'm not going to stay ahead of everybody, obviously, because there's a lot of people way ahead of me. But I was liking where I was. I like to meet people, don't get me wrong. Meeting people on the trail is fun. I just don't necessarily like to be in a big group of people, especially when I'm trying to sleep at night. And, you know, with the germs that happen out here, people don't necessarily have the best hygiene sometimes. I don't need Giardia or not Giardia. That's, you get that from water, but oh man, I can't remember what it's called right now. But basically, the stomach virus you get from people, noro. Don't need that norovirus. I have enough gut issues besides getting contaminated from other hikers who didn't clean themselves or wash themselves good. So that's not the only reason. I also just like the peace and quiet, and you know, I don't like last night. I'm in my tent. You know, I'm ready to pass out, and they're just up at a shelter which is 100 yards from me, but they're just laughing and carrying on. I'm not saying they're partying or anything like that. They're just really loud laughing and everything else, and that's, you know, they stopped at an early time, so that's good. It's not like they kept going till 10 or 11 o'clock. But, you know, I do pass out a little earlier because I get up earlier. You know, I get, like this morning, I'm first one up and out. Whatever. I'm not complaining, just telling you how it is out here. This is the first time I've had a lot of people up at the shelter. Probably, I'd say 10 to 12 at least was up there. Plenty of room, though, at that particular one. So there's probably room for another 20 tents, I would say. So that was a good big area on both sides of the trail where people could camp. So didn't have to have people right next to each other, which is a good thing. Still got a little space. So we'll see how that goes. Really not many hostels in this area or Connecticut. Hotels can't afford. Broke the way it is, it seems like, but New England isn't exactly the northern states, I should say, because I'm not officially in New England yet, but they're not exactly kind on their pricing for necessities, food and gear and, lodging, shower, laundromat when you need it. But gonna keep grinding, do what I could do. Appreciate all your help along the way. Definitely not going to stop you from helping now, though. Mom, send money. LOL. Wouldn't it be funny if instead of laughing, we just all said LOL every time we thought something was funny, like we do on social media. LOL. Oh my goodness. Okay, I might be a little slap happy this morning. 5 o'clock comes early. I think it's like 6:15 or 6:30 now, but I've been up for a little while. Just kind of laying in bed listening to the raindrops. Like I said, as you can see right now, the trail's kind of beautiful. Past those rocks, nice and cruisy and cushiony, which is good because my ankle hurts a little bit this morning, but that'll loosen up as the day goes. But anyway, I'm going to get back to hiking and focusing here. Glad you all could come along with me again today and see how far we can get. It's been a pretty rocky trail so far this morning. Not really too much scrambling or anything like that, but some high steps and maneuvering around. Good way to wake up in the morning. I'd much rather just walk up a mountain not on rock to wake up in the morning, but that does the trick too. Gets you sweating and gets the legs moving. The sun's starting to peek through now. Just stopped at my first water source, which was a little creek that was kind of swampy. Had to bushwhack a little bit to get to a good flow on the stream. And then I went a little further. When I say a little further, I mean across the railroad tracks. And there's a big stream with a bridge across it. Flowing really good. But I'd already got my water before then, so live and learn. Little stream came from the big stream, and I went to the little stream that was barely moving. Oh well. At least I got the water, got the other layer off, my base layer off that, it was kind of chilly this morning when it was still damp and the sun wasn't shining, but now the sun is trying to peek through. It's not even supposed to be sunny today, it's supposed to be mostly cloudy, so maybe the weather forgot to look at the weather again. I don't know, but carrying on. Here about 5 miles in, I think, so far today, and see what this beautiful day is going to bring. Kind of at the top of this ridge. It goes maybe another 50 feet higher at the most. Going down here right now. If you look over here, you can see some of these hills over here, but down there, that's the swamp. There's plenty of water in this swamp, and I'm going to be crossing that on a footbridge later, where I just got water from. It was basically swamp. Had to kind of go into it a little bit to get to the creek. Nothing like that though, where I had to go in super deep. That looks pretty deep right there, but just having lived a good portion of my life in the swamp in Florida, it's kind of blows my mind that there's swamp up here, but there is, and unfortunately it's pretty dry this year, so good to see that there's water over there in that swamp, which probably means that I'll have some decent luck today on water in different parts of the creeks and such for water sources throughout the day. It's a little muggy out here now with that sun shining through, but it's better than being soaked, I'll tell you that, because I'm not going to get a reprieve from that for several days probably, to where I'm able to stay in a bed or anything like that. Oh look, somebody put some water down here. I already filled up, so I don't need it, but that is mighty gratuitous of somebody. appreciate that a lot, especially in these dry areas like New Jersey and New York. I don't know if Connecticut is dry, but I will find out here in the next couple days. All right. Here's some really nice trail. Nice and flat and grassy. Wrapping around Nuclear Lake right now. Yes, Nuclear Lake. I would never drink out of this lake. Really wouldn't even want to camp at this lake with that name. But it looks pretty from what I've seen. I think there's going to be some more views up here as we get to the north end of it. Really nice with the sun hitting it, so hopefully get some good views up here. You can kind of see it through the trees here a little bit, but not too much. Hopefully get some good views. Here's a good view of Nuclear Lake from north to south. A lot of lily pads on this side. Decent sized lake. Look at this view. Another humongous tree. This one might be wider than the last one. It's probably like 10 foot wide. Maybe 12, I don't know. From end to end, not all the way around. Yeah, it's pretty big. Walking through some more pastures before going back down into the swamp. Some nice views. Beautiful trees, all different shades of green today. How many shades of green can you see? I just came down from there, down into the forest, crossed the road, into the pastures over here, and wrap around. I think it's for about a mile according to the map on the pastures, or in the pastures, on the pastures, in the pastures, whatever. And then back into the forest, swampy forest area. Just a couple more miles before the next road crossing, where there may or may not be a couple food carts set up there. My understanding is some days they're not, some days they are. So see if good fortune is following me today. And I might even try to get into town. There's a town called Pawling there. Might even try to get into town and do some laundry, because I really need to get my clothes clean and dried. It has been, some of them have been soaked since the rain 3 or 4 days ago, and just never air out completely. And then they're starting to get that musty smell in my backpack, and I don't like that with my sleeping bag and everything in there. So I'm going to try to get that taken care of if I get there early enough, and if it's an easy enough trek to get to the laundromat to get some laundry done and then get back on trail. Obviously eat some food while I'm there. Maybe some minor resupply. I don't really think I need much, so it's just a couple miles up here. See what it brings us, see if there's any food carts, and take it one step at a time. You could see this swamp is not dry. In case you've seen these on the video and don't know what they are, those are the blazes. When you're supposed to turn, they have 2 of them. The one on top is the direction you go. So like this one, it's on the right, so you turn right. If it's on the left, you turn left. It all sounds well and good. It's not always exactly accurate. Sometimes it says turn right and you're really supposed to go straight. Sometimes it says turn left and you're really not turning left at all. So you still have to check just to make sure, but there's supposed to be, once you turn, something to show you that you turned right, or correctly. But as you could see, I just turned right here and I did not see a white blaze at all. So we are assuming that we are correct, because it does look like a trail. However, there are a lot of different things around here that look like a trail. But that is, I would say it's about 90% accurate, at least 95. So it's a good thing to go by when you're, especially when you're on rocks and you're scrambling and whatnot. You don't really know which direction you're supposed to go. It'll tell you, go right here, go up these boulders instead of these boulders. It's not always right either, though, because sometimes the other boulders are easier. Or smarter. Not always easier. Smarter, though, sometimes. All right, still came out of the swamp back into this area. This is still basically the swamp, but it's more of a field or something with a lot of growth around it and weeds and such. It's very beautiful, but very steamy too. But after this, go back into the swamp again before hitting that road. Ooh, pretty, 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 pretty. The spacing of the trees, the sun coming through, the green down on the ground, the green up on the leaves, the trail. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous right here. I love terrain changes. Did you know that? The swamp. And no, I'm not in Florida. It looks like it though. This gentleman down here is weed whacking across the boardwalk, keeping the weeds back a little bit for ease of everybody's walk. It's a beautiful area. Walked into Pawling, New York. Just went about a half a mile off the trail. The food carts were not there. So notice to those of you who might be coming through after me, there are some days they're not there. There is it's called Native Landscape. You can see it in the background right there. I just jumped pretty good at that dump truck making a noise. Sound like a gun. But apparently they offer water and showers to thru-hikers. I didn't have a towel with me, but I did go to the shower and use it to wet my face and my legs and my arms and kind of just rinse off, so to speak, and then air dry out. Then I walked a half a mile down the road to Tony's Deli. Yes, my third deli in New York. And there I got a bologna and cheese with mayonnaise on a roll, a orange soda, and a Gatorade, and then just a couple more items for resupply, and headed back to the trail, another half mile. So all in all, did about a mile and a quarter or a mile and a half off trail. Gotta love those side trips. I didn't go in to do laundry or anything. I started looking at the map, and here in about, well, Kent, Connecticut will be coming up. I can always go there. Then Salisbury, Connecticut. Also, there's a place I could go in potentially. Then I'll be in Massachusetts. So there's, right as you get into Massachusetts, Great Barrington, there's a motel that I'm hoping I'll have the funds for, because by then I will want a nice day of rest. So I'm back on trail now. See how many miles I get today. And thankful for the delis of New York. Definitely have helped me keep some calories in or down or in me. I don't know. I can't think right now. But let's go do this Appalachian Trail. a lot of roots in this section on the trail. But there's also been a lot of weird blowdowns. I don't mean like blowdowns like this one big tree, but like 50 branches on top of each other that you literally fall into the branches as you're trying to walk across it. It's like a big maze or something, or tangled web is probably a better way. And these things are broken everywhere. So, needless to say, with just those bits of information, not even, discussing the overgrowth or anything like that, it looks like the trail maintenance up here might not be quite as regular as some of the other areas of the AT, for sure. But it's still fun. It's still kind of a little bit of weed whacking. No, it's not that bad at all. Just, now if they were all thorns, that'd be a little tough because I'd be cutting y'all up left and right. But it's just a little bushwhacking, going through some weeds, going through some brush, climbing over, blowdowns and little branches of the blowdowns. Not that bad. So if you notice that I'm walking a little slower here as I'm showing you the trail, it's because my ankle is in pretty bad shape right now. Not really sure why, because it's been like not good and sore and painful, and then we'll get better, and then sore and painful again, and then get better. But it's pretty bad right now. I'm having trouble walking. I don't know if you could tell the limp. So I'm about ready to set up camp for the night here in a couple miles. Put me right around 20-ish miles for the day. Yes, even when I'm in pain, I'm still doing 20. So I've made up my mind, in case you didn't know this. No matter what pain I'm in, I'm going through to Katahdin. Doesn't matter. Finances are kind of sore right now, and especially in this area, could definitely use as much help as possible. So if you can reach deep, that'd be great. If not, that's okay. So it's, if you can help out, it's definitely appreciated, though. I want you to know that. But no matter what, no matter what happens, if I have to, suffer a little bit on the food, and when I say suffer, I'm not going to starve. I have to start eating branches and bugs. I'm joking about that. But, no matter what, there's obstacles everywhere is my point. The whole symbolic thing that I talk about mountains all the time. We're always overcoming mountains. We're always overcoming obstacles. At least we're supposed to. At least I think we should. I know I do. It's my philosophy of life to keep climbing mountains. Keep coming down the mountain, going up and climbing the next one. That's what it's all about. That's why I love the AT. But like I was saying, I am not going to... I was interrupted there for a minute. There were some people on the trail. I didn't want to continue my conversation in front of anybody. They can watch the video if they want to know. But yeah, I'm pushing through no matter what. The only way I wouldn't is simply, something happens with my fiance or me to where we need to be near each other, tragedy or whatnot, which we're not even going to speak that into existence, because that's not how we think. We keep pushing on no matter what happens, but the only other way I wouldn't be able to go through with this and finish this year is if I just simply couldn't walk. If it got so bad that I couldn't walk or put weight on it. Of course, I would still give it a couple days rested and do everything I can, but sometimes that's not enough. So we'll see. The sprain that happened was 2 weeks ago, almost, maybe more. And it healed up pretty quickly. Wasn't bothering me anymore. And I don't know if I tweaked it out here on the rocks or what the deal was, but it's been bothering me a little bit every day. Nothing too bad. Nothing that I couldn't deal with and, go through. Obviously, I could deal with it today. 20 miles. I keep tripping on everything. That doesn't even have anything to do with the ankle. But, be 20 miles plus by the time I'm done today. And most of the pain that's happening right now is actually worse than it's been the last few days. And it's only the last part of the day. So I'm thinking it was the road walk. I think the road walk did something to cause it to just be a little extra sore today. I mean, I could still move it, I could still turn it, I could still stretch it. It's just painful. So I don't think it's like a really bad injury or something. I might have like even a broken little tiny bone in the foot, or maybe two, who knows, or some torn ligaments or stretched ligaments or something. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to stop to get off and see, because right now it's still movable, it's not swelled up, it's just painful. So all right, I'm going to quit going on and on about it. My point is, it's a little more painful today, so that's why you see me limping. But I'm going to keep going on, and we'll just take it day by day, step by step, figure out what needs to be done, whether it needs a day off, or if it's just going to keep getting better every day. You know, I have found in my body, it seems to get worse right before it gets better. I don't know why that is, but there's been a lot of times, even with my digestive flare-ups that I have every once in a while, my gut hurts so bad the last day of it. It's so weird. So that's what I'm hoping for, is that it's sore now, because it's going to be great tomorrow. But continuing on, getting close to camp, like I said, here in a few miles, and Connecticut will most likely be crossed tomorrow, but I will be basically right at the border. So good times are ahead. I don't know if you noticed on that last clip towards the end, I had 3 hikers behind me. They were so quiet, like ninjas. I was just rambling on and on and on about my ankle, on about that it's going to get better. I'm going to check it out, make sure I'm doing what I need to do. And they're just walking behind me, listening to the whole thing. I always try to make sure nobody's around when I'm talking, because it's kind of annoying to have to hear some guy talking to himself and hold his camera up to his face as he's walking. So I always try to make sure I'm away from people, but I didn't even know they were there. As soon as I stopped the camera, they said, "Hey again." I've ran into these 3. I'm sorry that I don't remember your names right now. Forgive me, I'm really bad with names, but we've been crossing paths for the last 3 days, I think it is. They were doing a section of New York, so basically one into New York to the other on the AT. But I think we ended up showing up at 2 different delis. Yeah, 2 different delis, like interchanging time. I was leaving when they were arriving, and so forth and so on. But it's kind of cool running into someone over and over. But they got me. They got me. Didn't even know they were back there. That's funny. So I let them go, because obviously I'm walking like a 95-year-old man. I don't know. Who knows? When I'm 95 years old, I might be walking better than I am right now. I have a little bit of a limp. Oh, I'm glad they didn't say anything, though, right in the middle of me recording. I probably would have jumped, and then y'all would have seen me get startled. All right, carrying on.